The evolution of your marketing will be the catalyst for the evolution of your business, and the evolution of your business will provide you with the freedom to focus on the evolution of your life. This is Evolved Marketing with Andre and Brian.
Welcome back to another episode of Evolve Marketing. So this is a very special episode because we have our first guest speaker today. But before we introduce her, I want to share a story about how it felt to go to my first marketing event for the first time. So the first time it was actually a mastermind for Legendary Marketer back in Orlando, back in December of 2020. And I happened to meet Brian actually there in person. So something Dave Sharp said in the beginning of the event was that the body has a natural way of responding. Whether you're nervous, whether you're excited, your body starts shaking, it might start getting a little sweaty, or maybe even a little headache just from thinking about it. Well, those are just natural reactions that a human body has. And we just have to let go and embrace those feelings because your body is just doing what it's supposed to be doing. So the reason why I'm sharing this story is because our guest today, she just went to her first online marketing event, and I would love to hear more about the experiences and how that experience was for her. She's from Brazil. She has exploded her business in a digital marketing space. She's gotten results that many other affiliates would dream of. And I can safely say that she has made her own version of the American dream come true. Now, before further ado, Mila Markson, everyone.
Hi, guys. Hello.
Hey, Mila, great to have you on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. It's an honor for me to be here sharing this with you guys. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty cool event that you were just at. So I'm kind of jealous that both of you were up in Boise recently. It was, I guess, what was that, last weekend, this past weekend. And for those who are, in the digital marketing game or affiliate marketing game or around the space, the first thing that us marketers think of when we think of Boise is ClickFunnels, because we don't know that there's necessarily anything else up in Boise that we know of if you're not from there.
Right.
I'm sure. Yeah,
potatoes
and ClickFunnels, right? Exactly. And I'm sure it's an amazing town, and I don't want to offend anyone who might live there and love it. And I certainly want to make it up to Idaho someday. But yeah, you were up at Boise at the ClickFunnels headquarters, kind of as an invited guest, I suppose, because you're such a powerful affiliate, one of their powerhouse affiliates, in addition to some of the other things that you promote, which we'll get to, I'm sure. So they had you up there for the ClickFunnels 2.0 launch. And the cool thing about that event is I know they brought a bunch of people, and they brought some other super affiliates. They brought in some amazing guest speakers. And I think, being your first event, how'd it go? What did you take away, and how was it better than you expected, worse than you expected, or just completely different than you expected?
It was, it's like, for me, it was just a blowing mind because a year ago, I would never imagine that I would be where I am now. I was basically almost a year ago. I was so lost, and I didn't know what to do. And like, I decided to start with this path with affiliate marketing, and started promoting ClickFunnels. And before, actually, I used to watch Russell Brunson like years ago. And I always admire him for everything that he accomplished, for everything that he's done. And to be invited to be on this event was just like, I don't know, it's just, I don't even have words to say that how honored and like how magical was for me. It was like an event that literally changed. I'm gonna change my journey, like change my life. And I don't know, it was very special. And like every moment, and all the speakers there and people that was there talking, just like, yeah, it was incredible to be like my first event ever. Like I never went to any event, and to be the first one was like very, very special for me.
Yeah, that's a
awesome.
pretty big one there too. I mean, there's a lot of people who have been probably in this game a lot longer than you, and probably a lot longer than me, who would die at the chance to be up there at ClickFunnels headquarters. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm
For
sure you
like
got to meet.
for everybody, for people who is in this world for digital marketing, knows who Russell Brunson means, and like everything that he's done is like just so incredible. And I posting pictures. I took a picture with him and I post on my Instagram. And I'm from Brazil, and I have like I know some people that's on digital marketing in Brazil, and everybody was like, wow, because he in Brazil, he's like a god for digital marketing, So yeah, it was very special for me.
That's awesome. Who was the person that you were talking to? The other Brazilian guy? Do you remember?
Fabio
Fabio.
Soares. Yeah, he's Brazilian too, but I didn't know. I met him there, and it seems he's like doing great thing in Brazil. He lives in United States actually, and he works from Brazil to Brazil. Like his audience is Brazilian,
Mhm.
and yeah, he's very nice too. Like
That's awesome. So digital marketing is really big in Brazil, right? Before you started doing affiliate marketing, did you have any experience with the online business?
I tried in 2019. I tried. I think actually it was in 2017 when I started like watching some videos on YouTube, like how to make money and things like that. But I I watched, but I never did anything. And 2019, I think I started drop shipping, and it worked for a while, but I lost a lot of money, and I never like I tried many times to my drop shipping that I tried was in Brazil, and Brazil it worked, but I lost a lot of money, like I said. And I tried many times to work here in USA because like I live in USA and I need like some income that comes in dollar. Uh, but it would never like work, never,
Mhm.
just like losing money until
When you were
like I
doing the
found out.
drop shipping, if we could talk about that just for a minute, because my background is extensive with many failures and a few success stories. But peppered in there in that background, I do have some drop shipping experience, both as a drop shipper using Facebook traffic, also organic blog traffic, and I also have some experience as an affiliate for Shopify, which is probably the e-commerce software that you use when you did your
Yeah,
drop shipping
sure,
business,
fine.
and also as a little bit of educating other drop shippers. So I've been in that market or niche for a while. It's been a while since then, but that was like 2016, 2017, 2018 for me. When you say you lost money in drop shipping just because you have that experience, and I'd love to talk about it because it might be relevant to some of our e-commerce audience, where did you lose the money? Because if I'm not mistaken, you did make some money. You said it was working in Brazil, correct? Where did the money get lost? Was it ads? Was it inventory? What happened?
I used to like Facebook ads to promote the products, but since I live in USA, my audience I would sell for Brazil. So with the difference that the currency, like dollar to real, to bring like the real to here and stuff like that. So it was in the pandemic, I think 2020. Like Explode was doing really well. I guess everybody was at home, didn't know much to do. So then Explode. And then the dollar started to skyrocket, And I didn't have like I have no experience with like having a business and having to control. It was like only me and my sister was used to help me. So I didn't know like anything about finances or how, like nothing like that. So I didn't keep track. I didn't organize myself. And then all the difference with the currency, like dollar, real, and then bring the reais to here. I lost a lot of money with that.
That's interesting because you were living in the United States, but you were drop shipping to the Brazil audience or consumer, if you will.
Yeah, at some point I was like losing money to work.
Yeah. Wow. So, we've talked about that. Andre and I have talked about that a little bit, that experience and all the failures that I've had, some of the failures that Andre has, your drop shipping, I mean, you know, on the surface, you were making sales at some point. So, you know, that's a goal for a lot of people, but ultimately you ended up losing money, and it was a, you know, a failed venture. And I don't think people ever see the failures, because if I am just a casual observer, an outsider, as I was when I saw you come onto the scene with your current affiliate marketing strategies and business and your brand and everything, like, it was just mind blowing. On the surface, it looks like here's this girl who is dominating the U.S. market with you know, an accent, and you know, how is this happening? Well, some of that is because you've had the experience, you've been in the trenches, right? You're it's like the overnight success, 2, 3, 4 years in the making, right?
Yeah, and I think like actually what it's changed is because like I didn't have experience. I am an immigrant. My English is terrible. You know, like I'm super shy. I'm introvert, and a lot of people keep like, oh, I want to do that, but I'm camera shy. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But one of the things I read once, and that's the what like okay, like start taking action to do. It was like I read something like that, saying that there's people with less knowledge than you, and less like thing doing great things just because they decided taking action, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what I like. Okay, I need to do. You know, I need to start taking action. I need to like things, and like people now see like what I'm accomplishing, where I am, but they don't see the other things, you know, like the nights that are like, no, I need to make this work, I need to learn like what I'm doing, test, because at the beginning I wasn't sure what I was doing, you know. I was just watching the videos, watching the things, and like watching you guys and like learning, and you know, and yeah, and people don't see like what you like all the journey that you take to be where you are, you know. And then like some people start post one here, one video there, and then oh, it's not working, I didn't make any money. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's not overnight, you need to be consistent. And like that's what most people don't get there, because they try here and there and then give up.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people look at your results, your success, but they never ever see what you had to do to get to that point. You
Yeah.
know, all those late nights, you know, even coming to a new country, right? That's just it's super nerve-wracking, is that you feel uncomfortable. You feel so little, honestly, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, there's people that will call it, you know, yeah, you just got lucky. But you know,
Yeah.
you never know what you actually had to accomplish to get to this point.
Yeah. And it's like that's when you start a new life in another country, it's like you're born again. And like that's like people don't see what what I passed through to get what I am. Like when I got to United States, I was a nanny. I was a nanny for like few years. And at the beginning, I would take 4 bus just to go to my work like few hours, and then get 4 bus to come back home to make like 60,000 the day. And then like most of my money was on the bus, but I had to do what I have to do, you know. I had to make money. So yeah, that's things like that people don't, most people are not like willing to do what you need to, like what it takes for you to grow and accomplish things that you want to accomplish.
Right. If you're willing to take 4 bus rides times 2 for $60, right, then, you know, that kind of puts into perspective, you know, the kind of effort and tenacity that it really does take to become successful in affiliate marketing or digital marketing or or whatever you're trying to do online, whether you're trying to create an agency or start a life coaching business, it really doesn't matter. It's all the same. Obviously it's different actions, but really you have to have the tenacity of taking 8 buses a day for not a lot of money.
Yeah. And be like focused, to be willing to do what it needs to take to learn the process, trust the process, because like I said, people start post some here, post some there. They don't test like what to work. At the beginning, when I started with affiliate marketing, I would test so much. I would use the ClickFunnels A/B so much, and like watching and rewatching, like and just like testing, and like sometimes I didn't have the results that I have, but I looked to other people. I looked to you guys, and like people making money and this and that. It's like it's possible. Like people are doing. I just need to figure out how. Just need to like keep trying and pushing, because at some point I believe it's gonna do it, and it
has in a big way. And I'm sure we'll get to more specifics on that in a second. But you did bring up ClickFunnels A/B testing, and that's more of the science behind the marketing, which I love talking about as well, and we'll probably bore some of our audience. But for those who don't know, ClickFunnels has a very cool feature where they have A/B testing, where you can just compare 2 pages against each other, and ClickFunnels will capture the data and basically tell you which one's working. It'll serve a certain percentage of one page to an audience and a certain percentage of the other page to an audience based on the parameters that you give them. When you were in that A/B testing phase, which a lot of people don't do, but it's a huge part of marketing, what kind of things were you testing? What were you looking for? What sort of signals were you looking for to tell you that, hey, this is working or this is not working? Was there specific things that you can recollect and remember?
I like testing everything, so I test headlines, different headlines, picture, no picture, colors on the button, like everything. And when you do the A/B test, ClickFunnels will tell you which one performs better than others. So
And how long do you have to test those things? For example, if you're testing one with no picture, one headline, how long will you keep it testing in the test mode?
it doesn't have like a time limit. I think like for a couple of days they already have, like, depends actually on the traffic, the amount of traffic you get. Because if you have like some amount of traffic, I think like few days they can already say, but I try to like at least like 1 week or something.
Gotcha.
And that's one of the things that I've talked about before, not necessarily with you or even with Andre, but I've talked about with some of the other, students that I have and content that I created is that is kind of the unseen benefit of this new wave of short form content, and the opportunity that's associated with it. For example, you create a TikTok, you have opportunities to get massive reach. The same thing on Facebook Reels, you have opportunities to get massive reach, which can lead to massive traffic. I know you do very well on Instagram, which I'm excited to hear about that, because I'm sitting with 2 people who do very well on Instagram, and there's a third one here, that's me, who does not do well on Instagram. It's the one platform I really haven't had massive success with, or any success really with, to be honest with you. But the thing is now that we have the opportunity to get traffic, what that really does is give us the opportunity, if we take it, to test things faster. Because at the beginning of this episode, I talked about how, I have some history in e-commerce and drop shipping. And the way I started was by creating product review blogs. Initially, I would send all that product review blog traffic to Amazon and earn the affiliate commissions. But I thought to myself, hey, here's an opportunity. Let's take all the products that I'm ranking for and let's put them on a drop shipping store. That way I can take my margins from, 5 or 6% or whatever percentage I was getting as an Amazon affiliate, and get them up to 40, 50, 60% if I actually source and fulfill the products myself. So that was my first start in a drop shipping. But the problem is in order to get a blog to rank, first you have to learn blogging, and that takes forever. Then you have to try different things and build backlinks and create on-page SEO and all this stuff. And the problem is everything took forever to test because you had to go for 6 months of doing stuff based on what you learned and then decide if it worked or if it did. And it was funny because before
6 months though, wow.
Yeah, before you came on to this episode here today, me and Andre were just kind of going over our plan for the thing, and I went into one of my rants and I was like, these people don't get it. Like there is so much traffic out here that we didn't have when I first got started. I'm one of the guys who got started 10 years ago before there was, reels and TikToks and stuff like that. Sometimes I get not angry, but just like, man, what a different world this is. But yeah, like you said, like how big of an opportunity is that? You said testing. And obviously, when you're testing anything, when you're doing an A/B test, you want to wait till you get statistical significance where it's, hey, the platform can definitely say without a doubt, this one's better than this one. Well, you can do that in a week now without ads. And that's incredible. And it's such a huge opportunity if you use it, right? Like you said, you love testing. Is that from your e-com background, you think? Or or is that just how your brain works?
Maybe the background drop shipping, we had to do testing, but I think also on my brain how it works too. Like, okay, because like I don't know, maybe some people say, oh, you're lucky, it's lucky you got viral on there, lucky, but I don't know, like I feel like has, like the three first seconds, like you did something different and you had like a different color or a different angle, so I try to analyze everything, like why this one went viral, why this one performed better, so I don't know. And I think it's blowing mind. Sometimes I like why people don't take advantage of this because it's literally the best time to make money online, literally, because like before, like you said, the short form video, it's like 5 seconds video. Like you put here 1, 2, 3, done. It's so fast. And before, like, YouTube. YouTube actually is something that I wanna work on, that I learned on the event. Like the biggest guys on this world, they all said about YouTube. But anyways, YouTube take way more work. You have to like it's more time, and you have to edit and this and that. So it's like I can understand, but the short format video is just so like I don't know, it blows my mind that people don't take advantage because it's literally the best time to jumping on this online marketing thing,
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of people, that people listening right now that they're afraid to, be on camera for the first time or even post their first video, for the first time ever. Is there any advice that you can give them, those people?
Just do it. I was yesterday, actually, I was going through my old videos, and I was like, oh my God, it was so terrible, my videos. And I still think it's terrible, but like, if I like, I'm a shy person, I'm an introvert. If I'm doing, like, anybody can do it, like create everything separate from your personal account. That's what I did. I didn't want anybody, like my friend, my family, like to see what I was doing. So I create everything separate. And I think like when you do everything, like just everything separate from your personal account, you can feel like more comfortable, even though like at the beginning is not gonna feel comfortable, but do it anyways, because that's how you grow, like you need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable things. You have to be willing to do what it needs to take, so like start doing, do it, don't think about it, you just do it, I think
I have this hypothesis that's why. So, as I've mentioned, as many times as anyone will listen to me, I've been doing this for about 10 years now. So I've seen kind of the evolution of marketing strategies over the last 10 years. And I've never seen anything like I witnessed in 2020 when TikTok just kind of came onto the scenes. And what I mean by that is the amount of people who were seeing first time success, mostly as affiliate marketers, because that's just the space that I'm familiar with. But it just seemed like everybody was all of a sudden launching these huge brands and getting massive reach. And even some people who'd been around the game for a long time, they came on TikTok, and it kind of not necessarily revitalized their career, but was a huge bolt of lightning or shot in the arm for their brand. And everyone, talks about, the massive reach that you could get on TikTok in 2020 and 2021. A lot of people, say maybe it was because of the pandemic and everybody was home watching their phones. And while all those things were probably, something that led to that, right? That was a factor in it. I have this hypothesis, as I mentioned, that the reason so many people found such massive success on TikTok is because they felt the anonymity. They felt like they could go out there and say what they wanted to say, be who they wanted to be for their business, for their brand, without fear of their friends or families or neighbors judging them. And what they found, I think, is when they did that, things worked a lot better, and they got a lot more reach, and they got people to want to become a part of their community. So really, can you speak to like what it takes? Because you have an audience on TikTok and Instagram and all these places, and you have a following, and everyone, at least in our industry, knows Mila. Like, what sort of tips can you give us about like just putting your authentic self out there, or your personality, or is it an extended version of yourself? Or I just love some insight into the actual personality that you put behind your content, if you could.
Yeah, I think people connect with people, and like some people say that it's saturated or anything like that, but my personality will always have people that connect with me. It's not gonna always have like, what's your story, like what's what do like your personality and stuff. Like, you have like a portion of people that will connect with you, or the same way with Andre, with his story. So that's what I try to use on my content. I try to, and that's what I actually think it makes a difference. It's like telling my story, like showing who I am, like put my I don't know, it's like storytelling, so that's what I try to do on my content. And yeah.
That's
And
awesome. I mean, telling your story, right? Telling your story is probably the best thing you can do, because we were talking about me and Brian. We're talking about this. How do you find your ideal customer, right? And then the easiest way is just by sharing who you are.
Yeah. And that's what I have a lot of people. Oh, I am a nanny too. Like because I have so many things that about my personality, about my story, like I'm an immigrant. I was a nanny. I was looking for a job because I didn't want to be a nanny anymore. So I tried to find other jobs, but because my English, I didn't have much experience. Like I couldn't find anything else. So that's like how I start. Okay, let me search like how to make money online, like ways to do extra money, whatever. And that's how I started going through this route. But there's so many like points of my story that's like people connect with me. And I have a lot of people saying like, yeah, I'm tired of my work too, I don't know what else to do, I was a nanny too, like I need to, I'm an immigrant, I have a lot of Brazilians that lives here. And I said like, so I think it's not being afraid to show who you are, like sharing your story, because that's what that's a thing that people will connect with you, and I think
I was just writing down, it's like, kind of to paraphrase what you said, it's like the more of your story that you share, the more opportunities that you have for new customers to connect with you. Like you said, one person might connect with you because they used to be a nanny. Another person who is completely different might connect with you because you're an immigrant from Brazil. Another person might connect with you because you used to take the bus to work, or, and they weren't a nanny. I was thinking as you were saying that, earlier on, I used to take 4 buses each way. When I was living in San Diego and we just moved there and we just had a baby, we couldn't afford a car. So I took the bus into work. I connected with that. I thought back to my, I don't want to say pain because it was such a magical point in my life with having a new baby and all this opportunity and stuff like that. But I connect to that struggle. And even though I've found, nowadays I'm in a completely different state. I mean, literally, because we live in Texas now, but also figuratively in the sense that, I don't even know what my car payment is because it's not an issue. I have no idea what gas prices are because it's not an issue. So it's completely different from worrying about if I was going to be able to afford the monthly bus pass, or if I was going to have to pay every time I got on because I had to wait till I made more tips to get on and I couldn't take the money from the diapers. Like when you tell those stories, I connect to that pain and that struggle. So obviously, if I was still feeling that pain and struggle, what would I want to do? I'd want to come to you, someone who's gotten away from that, to learn what I need to do, because I can feel that through my journey. I saw myself in you. And I think that's really what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about like stories. People like hearing stories. People like, and like using the storytelling on your content and showing you like these little points of your life, like these unique pillars that makes you. I think that's like, I don't know, like people connect more with you.
Yeah, that's a cool story too, because I remember when you were first starting out in the online business, you actually reached out to me, right? And for asking for advice and all of this. And now I'm the one asking you for advice, right? So it's like it's just funny how it works out, It doesn't matter how much experience you have, how much knowledge you have. Everybody can learn from each other, basically. It doesn't matter how much money I made, it doesn't matter how much money you made. We can always take a little bit of each story and help our own story out, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody has like what it works for you. That's why it's important to keep trying and testing, because eventually you're gonna find what it worked for you. Like for me, it worked. It worked sharing my story, sharing these things, and like another people is gonna find something else that's gonna work, and we all like have unique experience and like things, and yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
what
exactly why we started this podcast too, so you can share your story. We'll learn from you, people will listen in, will learn from you, from us, and it's just like a big circle.
Yeah.
And everybody learns, everybody wins, basically.
Yeah, I do believe on this too.
Yeah. So speaking of learning, I'm excited here because I'm going to maybe shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to take this opportunity, however much time you give us, and I'm going to take advantage of this. I want to talk about Instagram, and I want to talk about, so I don't think we're going to be the type of podcast that maybe talks a whole lot of specific numbers, but I can say that there's people out there who are seeing success, and there's people out there who are doing pretty much what you do, but they're not seeing the numbers that you do. And I don't know what specific numbers you do, and I'm not going to ask you. But I've been in this business long enough to know that you do some great numbers. So we know you're sharing your story. We know that's a huge part of your customer acquisition plan or strategy. But what does that look like, if you could, like in specifics? Like, you can't just turn on a camera and start telling your story and expect a bunch of people to give a crap about you. You have to do it in a very strategic way. Then if you have the strategy in place, if you had like the 3-second hooks, like you alluded to earlier, then you weave your story into that plan. That's where the power comes from. That's where the results come from. But so maybe if you could just take a second to like talk about like whatever stands out to you. I don't know if it's like specific traffic flow, like how do you integrate platforms with each other? How do you get people from one platform to another, to a list? Like what is your like overall plan for a day, a week, a month when you're creating content? And then how does that kind of project out over the goals for the year and growing your brand?
Okay. Let me talk a little bit about Instagram, right? Like Instagram, I think I lost 2 accounts this year, and all the accounts. So I had this one I have right now is my 3rd account, and all of these 3, I was able to grow the account over 50,000 followers. My last one was almost 200,000 followers. So I kind of like I know a little bit about Instagram.
I would say that's an understatement, so please continue.
I think Instagram it's like a community, right? That's what Instagram wants. They want a community, and there's a lot of things that like they don't want you go there and just post something, and then like they want you to grow a community. So Heels is to bring new people to your account, right? That's what Reels, I use the Reels for. But
on Instagram, you use the Reels for bringing new people to your account.
Yeah.
Okay.
To bring more people to my Instagram, my account. But I use stories to connect these people with me and to sell through the stories, So I post every day, and I try to make my Instagram more humanized. Like I try to put it like as a human, not like sales. So I share things about my dog, I share things about my husband, about like I'm doing something, I bought something, like
your lifestyle.
Yeah, my lifestyle. I share these things because that's like this few things that makes my life like that make me. That's what's gonna connect the audience with me, and then eventually I use these things to make people related and create a design for what I sell, so I use the stories to generate the desire on my audience. So then, I wanted this lifestyle, I wanted this, I want to do that. That's like the about the connection on Instagram and how I do things on Instagram. But from my experience, TikTok is the easiest place to create content and to go viral. So I take advantage of TikTok because TikTok it's the easiest platform to do that. And from TikTok, I send people to my Instagram. So that's what I do, so from TikTok, I send people to my Instagram, and then it's like, a flow. And that's like, and then from the TikTok, I download the videos and I repost on Instagram, Facebook, other platforms. But my main one is like TikTok, Instagram. And on Instagram, I am very strategically posting and sharing and it's not like, I'm gonna post one here, because sometimes I get some people like, can you give me some tips? I'm trying, like I'm posting, but I didn't get any sale yet. And then I said, okay, where are you posting? Oh, TikTok and Instagram. I said, you using this Instagram? Because I see just one Reels and it's not enough. So like people, it's, you need to be consistent and posting, and and that's basically my strategies and how it
kind of your workflow. Yeah. So talking about Instagram then, because that's where you're bringing some of your TikTok traffic to, which, I mean, you're absolutely right. TikTok is still a great place to go viral, but it's a hard place to build a community. It's a hard place to maybe get repeat views, I think. And obviously, if you want to sell anything more than a couple bucks, you're going to need to hit somebody more than once. So to bring them over to Instagram is amazing. So maybe we just kind of elaborate on Instagram. So obviously you're posting Reels to bring people to Instagram, but what does it look like after you get people to your account? Now, obviously you're posting, I think I reached out to you one time because you just bought a new purse, and I don't know if I congratulated you on the purchase or whatever. I was like, oh, that's great. So anyways, because it was a very nice purse. And but Amy's, are you just posting and waiting for people to come to you, or is there a call to action at some point, or how does that all look?
So when I'm starting the account, my call to action is follow. So follow to learn more, follow to something. My main call to action is follow. And from from people, like I ask on my things after growing, and then I ask people to like reach me out on DMs so I can talk with them. But at the beginning, when I'm first starting the account, I like using follows, or when I need to grow more, because right now the account is going viral, so it's doing by itself. But at the beginning, I like putting the call to action, like follow to learn or something like that.
Awesome. I have a question about how do you find, content ideas, or what type of videos are you making for your audience?
So one thing also that I think it worked for me is not using just one type of content, because some people just do trendings and trendings and trendings. So what I do is like, okay, today I'm gonna post like a motivational video. Today I'm gonna post like a value content video. Or tomorrow I'm gonna something like relatable, So I never post always like the same type of content. I like to mix it up. Like one day is this and the other day is this,
Yeah.
that's what.
And then are you talking to your followers? Are you sending them messages, or how do you convert a follower into basically a lead and then eventually somebody that buys from you?
I ask them to message me on the DMs. That's what I do. So then I talk with them. But people don't buy. Most people don't buy at the first sign. Most people don't. So they need to see you over and over and over again. So that's like, you need to have an email sequence. You need to like posting on his stories, because I think that's what I created this connection more, and then people will like eventually buy from me, or eventually get the whatever I'm selling, it's creating the stories, using the stories, they feature stories on Instagram. So like I can show, I don't know, like create this desire, like generate this desire on my audience. So they see me on stories, they see me on email, they see me on the reels here and there, and then so like, okay, I wanna join, like I wanna take the leap of faith, I have a lot of people who just like, they come and they keep watching me and and then eventually say, okay, I'm following you for months, like how can I start, how do I do this, so that's what I need. Like people need to see you over and over and over again, and don't be afraid. Like that's what I learned on the mastermind, like don't be afraid to send the email, too much email, email newsletter, email marketing, or like posting things, because like, well, if you're not for the person, like they're gonna follow you, they're gonna subscribe, and that's fine. You want to have people that's interested in what you have to say, so I think that's basically what I do. I create all this ecosystem from stories and reels and posts, and yeah.
And you just
Wow.
keep creating the content. You keep people engaged, give them stuff to watch. The people who don't like you, they're gone, and they weren't going to buy anything anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a situation where you have a bunch of people just following you, and some buy in 12 days and some buy in 12 months. But the longer you do this and the longer you stay consistent, the bigger that pool of people are who are on the fence. And it just becomes, it comes down to a matter of, it's not if people are going to buy from you, because they're following you because they want to change their life. So they're going to buy eventually. It just comes down to, when are they going to buy from you? And if you can automate that process and just handle that at scale like you do, it's just a magical thing that, unfortunately, it's a place that I'm in my business, where, and you are definitely in your business, that most people don't get to. Once you get to that point where you have 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, however many thousands of people who are just on the fence, then you don't even have to really sell anymore. You just have to wait for them to make the decision to say, like you said, I wish I wrote down exactly what you said, but it's like they can't take it anymore. They just like, I got to buy. I'm going to take the leap of faith because I've been following you for 4 months. And that's where the magic happens. And, looking like, I know you still work hard. I know you show up and you said yes to this podcast. So I know you had, you're putting in the work and thanks again. But like, what advice do you have for people who are just like, haven't got to that point yet? Because if you're making content and you're just getting a bunch of one-off views, like you're not going to get a whole lot of buyers, and that's frustrating. What kind of like advice or motivation do you have for people who haven't made it to that point where they do have a big community of people who are on the fence?
Yeah, it's like also one thing that I would like to add also, it's most people, they just like be salesy, and that's like a lot of people came out as a scam or something. And that's what I think it's important for you to show that like you are a real person, like you are like you are just like them, and I don't know. I think like you can just like take the leap of faith and do what you need to do and start like, even though you have fear, you are shy, you are scary, or and do and see what it takes, or you're gonna spend your whole life just like thinking what if, and then like you are old and you get to like your last years in your life, like, oh, what my life could have been if I take action. And that's what it changed also me when I came to United States. I started this and this, like I didn't want to get to my last years of my life and watch my life and see like what life I could have if I took action, if I started, if I did what I wanted to do. And that's why you can just start with all the feelings you are feeling, or spend your whole life like thinking about what if.
Yeah, I got to talk to Andre for a second, because you'll probably remember Andre and I were at Funnel Hacking Live, and this will be a good story for you as well, Mila. But it was Ed Milet, right, Andre?
Which one was it?
Was it Ed Milet, or who was it? Was talking about what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst? What does hell look like? And it's when you get to the end of your life and you see the person you could have been. And two things can happen, and it might not have been Ed. So I apologize if I'm not giving the appropriate credit to the right person, but basically he said, two things can happen. Either that person that you could have become, the greatest version of yourself, looks at you and says, man, I was watching you and I saw you struggle and I saw you keep coming. And I knew you were getting closer and closer, and you tripped a few times and you got a little off track that other time, but you kept coming, you kept coming, you kept coming. And here we are. And that person who that best version of yourself recognizes you. That's the most amazing thing that can happen at the end of your life. And what's the worst thing? What's the hell is you show up at the end of your life and that person you could have been doesn't even recognize you and says, well, I didn't even see you show up every day. I didn't see you put any effort. And I guess we just have nothing in common, and you go your separate ways. So that just made me think about your story there. And
yeah, a lot of people, they're scared to take action, right? And then I just told them, I'm more scared to stay living the same life that I'm living, basically. So just little things like that, it makes a difference. And I want to give you props, first of all, because you mentioned that you lost 2 accounts, right? And then you went back the next day, you created a new account. And what kind of mentality were you going through, like when you first lost those 2 accounts? Like what did you do to get over that feeling of failure, right?
First thing, I cry. I cry. And I went, oh my God, I can't believe this happened again. And like the last time, I was so sad, like because the account was 170 something thousand followers, and I'm like, oh my God, I it's because not only like the followers, but it's like I put so much work on my stories and my pictures and my videos, you know, like I take it so like well for my account, and then like vanish all my work. That's like what makes me more sad. And the last time I was like super frustrated, and I was like, I didn't want to do anything. I spent most of the time like of the day like on bed or something. And my husband, you know, like he was sometimes he's kind of like tough, you know, like, okay, you did it once, you can do it again, you know, like, so take the day, whatever, but you need to get up and do, you know how to do it. And yeah, it's like I take my time to, you know, to be sad, to cry over what happened, but then, you know, like what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make this work, or I'm gonna go back and try to look for other jobs and work for somebody else, or like, or I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna figure it out, you know. So that's like the process.
I think that's
And
some amazing advice, because I think so most folks who are successful in using organic marketing, they're creating content, right? You know, there's a lot of content that's being created, and you know, I try to post a piece of content every day. You probably try to post multiple pieces of content every day. I know Andre, I see him every single day posting content, and that's easy to do in the beginning when you're excited, you know, the first week, the first 2 weeks. And I think what happens is people, life gets in the way, especially when it's not a habit. If you don't have the habit of creating content every day, it can be difficult, especially when you don't know your industry as well as maybe we do these days. You know, it's hard to come up with those ideas, and it can be draining. And so what happens is you miss a day. And I think that what really happens is people let that be an excuse to miss another day and another day and another day. And then all of a sudden they lose any momentum that they had, you know, whatsoever. And it's just, now they're starting back from zero again. But like what you said, it's okay, right? Take the day to be sad if you want to, you know, hide in the covers if you want, you know, that's okay. You can miss a day, but you got to get back to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And especially because like I think every entrepreneurship, like every person that decides to go through this route of entrepreneurship, they're gonna encounter problems. You know, maybe if they want Facebook ads, you wake up and then Facebook banned your account. You know, or like any sort of problems, you're always gonna have them. But that's what that's what the entrepreneurship does. Like the entrepreneur does, they solve the problems, you know, like, and sometimes you don't have the answer right away. Like you take the day, you take your time to be sad, to cry over whatever. That's what I did. But and then like you show up and sit and figure it out, because if you wanna do this, if you really wanna this, you have to do it. There is no other option, you know.
Yeah, and I have some experience too losing accounts. The first time I lost my first account, my first Instagram account, was actually on my birthday. You know, I wasn't
I
even,
remember.
yeah, so I wasn't even home. I was on we went to Lake Travis in Austin, so we were there for the weekend, and then I wake up this morning and boom, my account is shut down completely. And it was literally the same day as my birthday. And I was like, okay, well, I can worry about this right now, right? Because I'm celebrating, right? But then at the same time, it was in the back of my mind, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do now?
It's
But then
over.
after you start, yeah, so after you start thinking about it, you're like, well, I did it once, I can do it again. And sure enough, boom, I did it again, you know?
But
So you have
also,
to have that right
but
mentality.
but also you're like, all right, family, pack up. We can't afford this Lake Travis house anymore because
Yeah, yep, yep.
It's over. The business
But
is over.
yep. But I try not to worry too much about it. But yes, it sucked. It's horrible. It's such a horrible feeling. But you know,
Yeah.
you do it one more time. It's just another ball life's throwing at you, basically, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because like every time I like these two times that happened and I lost the account, and I said to my husband, okay, baby, probably the commissions is gonna drop. Like I'm not gonna be able to make this. And then like I had a better month. I had like a better week, and it's just like, oh my God, that's crazy, you know, and just, I don't know. I think that's the mentality to just keep trying and try new strategies and, you know, yeah.
Well, I think that's a kind of a testament to what I call the beginner's advantage these days. So you had to start a new account, and actually it turns out that you were doing, you know, you hit it probably new records and new milestones for your income. And you know, the thing is because of the way the algorithms are changing. TikTok came and it showed that people like discovery algorithms, where it's not necessarily who they follow. It's kind of like what's interesting to them. So there's this huge opportunity, and the beginner advantage is the growth, right? The growth is where the magic really happens. You know, people discover you and they take interest, and they see themselves in you, whether it's, you know, their nanny, or they take buses, or they're from Brazil, or, you know, or they're Peru, or, you know, whatever everybody's individual story is. You know, they worked in the restaurant industry, or have kids, you know. And that's when they get excited, and that's when they come into your community, and that's where they purchase and buy. So really the beginner advantage is in the growth. And I think that's just a testament to the fact that you've created multiple accounts now. And it probably seems like every time you create a new one, guess what happens? You know, you do better and better and better. And you know, obviously it helps that you know what you're doing now, but that's part of the process. That's the thing that everybody goes to. So, you know, you've been incredibly generous, you know, with your time. And I'm so excited to get back into Instagram and really try to figure out that platform now. You know, I want to turn it over to Andre, make sure he doesn't have any last minute questions. But what I want to do is maybe we'll save that for the end. If he does, I'll let him finish up. But I want to ask you, since you've been so generous with your time, is there anything that we can do for you? Like all the listeners, like, is there something we can do for you? Is there some way we can help you? Is there some way we can follow you? What, you know, is there any, what do you like? What do you need? Is there anything we can do for you?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's maybe the most thing that I need to work on my business is actually time manage and like actually delegate things. But yeah, I don't know how you guys like find virtual assistant, or how you guys, you know, maybe these more aspect like.
So as far as, you know, getting your own virtual assistant, I think, you know, at the point that you are with your business, that will probably be like the best thing that you can do. That way you can focus on more important stuff, right? There is a website, you know, I have found somebody from outside the United States, because they actually work really well, and the rates are cheaper than paying somebody that will be from here. So yeah, I'll definitely send you the website. And then that way you can start your journey through, you know, finding an actual person that can help you with your business.
And just for the
Yeah.
listeners there, maybe we'll put it in the show notes as well, or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. You know, what is that website, Andre, that
It's
you're
the,
using?
I believe it's virtualassistant.com.
Okay, we'll go ahead and put it in the show notes and put it in
Yeah.
in the comments as well. That way, if other people want to outsource their hiring, they can. You said virtual, just kind of an assistant is the
Actually,
first
no,
thing you
it's
recommend.
actually virtual coworker.
Virtual coworker. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because I think like for you to actually grow, you get to a point like for you to grow more, you need people, you know? So like to delegate, and that's what I'm terrible with, is like delegating. Okay, like I don't know, that's what
Yeah.
I.
Well,
Yeah.
if you ever need any advice, you know, help, me and Brian were restaurant managers. We used to manage more than 20 people at once. So delegating is something that we're probably good at. So if you ever, you know, you can always reach out to us. And yeah, we appreciate your time, and thank you so much for, you know, joining the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It was an honor to be here and share a little bit of my story and strategies, and yeah, thank you.
Well, it's great to have you, Mila. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And make sure you go follow her. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, and we'll make sure we link everything down there so they can really dive in and hack you and see not just what you're saying, but what you're doing. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.